Hello everyone, I am Ryle Baldwin and today I'm going to be doing my topic on ocean acidification causes and effects on life and the environment. Imagine if you go to the beach and dive in the ocean. You notice that the water is cloudy and sour. This has to do with acidified oceans. Acidification is a process in which seawater becomes more acidic and the pH levels lower over time. Not only is ocean acidification caused by human activities, but it also negatively impacts life and the environment. Why are oceans acidifying? Oceans typically absorb 30% of carbon, but human development has caused the oceans to absorb 4 times more carbon than before. Ocean acidification is caused by human activities that allow excess carbon to enter the atmosphere and the oceans. The 19th and 20th century are significant centuries with lots of innovative developments such as vehicles and electricity, but these have caused the pH levels to decrease from 8.2 to 8.1 between 1850 and 1990. Acidified oceans were not a concern until the 1980s. More human development has caused the pH levels to go from 8.1 to 8.05 in the last 30 years. Predictions stated that oceans will lose 0.5 pH units by 2100. Causes of acidification. Fossil fuels release a lot of carbon in the atmosphere that causes amounts of it. Oceans now absorb 29% more due to fossil fuels in the last 100 years. Littering affects the ocean. Plastics contain organic acid or polytechnic acid when released, and this acidifies oceans. Plastics are made from fossil fuels containing carbon and oil, which leaches into the oceans. Sewage is mostly alkaline, but it can be acidic depending on the stool and urine type. Most of the sewage contains phosphorus monotride. City sewers near oceans tend to dump in oceans, making oceans more vulnerable to acidification. Deforestation increases carbon concentration due to human development and leftover dead trees, releasing carbon in the air and the ocean. Without trees, photosynthesis would not be effective. Oxygen levels would be so low that the oceans cannot stabilize pH with carbonate ions. Vehicles are powered by gasoline or diesel that emit waste in the atmosphere. Vehicles emitted 4.6 metric tons of carbon a year that decrease ocean pH levels 0.17 pH units in the past 60 years. Not only land vehicles and aircraft harm the ocean, boats acidify the ocean through leaks of fossil fuels as well as the emissions from the spinning motor. Urbanization can affect ocean acidity due to the use of fossil fuel plants, cars, waste, sewage, and deforestation need for cities to grow. Cities near oceans greatly increase the likelihood of acidification. Acid rain is caused by high concentration of carbon in the atmosphere mixed with precipitation to make sulfuric acid. It precipitates in the ocean to make it more acidic and affects marine life. The effects on life and the environment. Low pH has made it difficult for calcifying organisms to use carbonate ions to create shells that are small and brittle than bigger and heavier. Fish cannot detect predators through acidic water that makes the food chain vulnerable. Fish get a condition called acidosis when the acidified water changes the pH level. Most will likely go extinct if the pH levels are bad. Ocean acidification is dangerous towards humans. Fish is contaminated with ocean acidification, especially the meat. Consuming contaminated fish leads to low blood pH levels that leads humans to seizures, coma, and death. Acidified oceans decrease the marine population that can affect the economy, especially the fishing industries, and limits the food supply for humans. Rising temperatures make oceans more acidic with excess CO2 in the air. Colder seawater absorbs more acidity due to the density and the lack of sunlight energy to control the absorption of CO2. Rising temperatures are melting ice sheets that can disrupt the ocean circulations. Oceans become more acidic through the exchanging water from one place to another through ocean circulation. It interrupts trade wind patterns with more acidic and corrosive water, giving the water a darker color. Rising temperatures have made it difficult for winds to mix the water, which are stratified with layers sitting on top of another. Locations with warmer weather become CO2 saturated, making layers have less oxygen. How can we reduce ocean acidification? Some countries have made driving regulations that do not allow people to drive cars for amount of time due to high carbon in the air. Car manufacturers in recent years started engineering and manufacturing electric vehicles that will emit no emissions or gas engines that emit less. Carbon capture plants capture and trap CO2 and store it deep in the ground. Scientists and engineers work together to engineer carbon capture plants that could help reduce the amount of CO2 in the air as well as helping the oceans deacidify. This technology may not be effective yet due to the timing and money to make it work. Wind, solar, and water are useful for lowering carbon emissions to reduce the risk of ocean acidification. But it's not 100% carbon free because the materials are still made in factories that emit. And tendency to where wind will not blow at a certain time, the sun is not out all the time, and the water can be scarce in some spots. While photosynthesis producing organs like cyanobacteria and phytoplankton produce a lot of the oxygen and absorbing the carbon dioxide, trees can help the photosynthesis more. The more trees planted, the better it'll be for the oceans to be able to stabilize the carbon absorption without being acidified. The life in the ocean would not be threatened if there were more trees. Recycling can help reduce littering and waste of non-renewable items. It saves oceans from organic acids leaching from the plastics. Plastics can be recycled into newer stuff. Ocean acidification is the process to which seawater becomes more acidic and the pH levels lower over time. While we humans are the ones to blame for this problem, we can solve this by controlling the excess amount of CO2 that won't further acidify the oceans. And thank you for listening.